Okay, so we're going to be going now into Burnt Custard versus Klops. This is round 3 of the Clash of the Titans tournament sent by eSports.com, and this one is going to be on an old favourite, Forge. Yes,
I love this map.
Forge, the map that some people love and some people are like, oh my god, why are we seeing Forge again? But personally, I love this one quite a lot.
I love this map too. I test the AI on it quite a bit, and it's frustrated me a lot less lately.
Yeah, this is a map that has been seen in tournaments almost since the beginning of Planetary Annihilation, at least since this map came into being. And you just get to see so many different types of games on here. It really is one of my favourites.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting expansion points, a lot of areas of contention, and yeah, I've seen this map played many different ways successfully, and it ends up being quite entertaining.
Yeah, well, we're seeing coming up Klops here early bot factory, which is I think a reasonably recent development, probably a Titans development on Forge, which often used to be all tanks. Maybe an air factory, but generally all tanks. But these days, you tend to see a bot factory come out as well, especially with this new aggressive early boom play as well. And I know Klops has been using booms on here against his opponents recently. Whether he's going to do that against Burnt Custard, I'm not sure. But especially with Burnt having his docked factory out, it's going to be a tricky play to pull off.
Yeah. Looks like Air Factory coming out for second for Klops, and another bot factory coming out for, or queued for Burnt Custard. He's going to walk up there and start building it right now. Yeah,
indeed. He's going for. It looks like he's going to go for a very early, very hard, very aggressive docks push. The Klops, on the other hand, go for a lot of docks. They go for a massive eco build. I have not seen a four fabber opening on Forge before. That is a new one on me. 3 fabbers maybe? 4? That, yeah, very bold.
Yeah, he's got 2 of them going around building power, building metal in his base, and then he's got 2 of them going out to opposite sides and expanding. So he really wants to lock down the eco quickly, but putting that much of your economy towards expansion and eco, when your opponent, it looks like he's going to be going for a fast docks push, that may come back to bite him in the butt.
Well, he's going to just stay in front of this fabber here, but he's coming out the better of this fight here. He's managing to drive Burnt Custard off, so that was a nice bit of defensive play there by Klops. And he's clearly got the timings on this build down. Those 2 extra docks turning up just in time to fight off that push. All fighters, I'm surprised to see. He could do with a bomber out there really to perhaps thin those numbers out, but it's all hummingbirds. But his opponent still having absolutely no air presence and going for more bot factories still.
Yeah, if he's going to go with the fighters there, he really should be sending at least something out to scout, because he could find Burnt Custard's lone fabbers going out and expanding and just bomber them into submission. Yeah,
going for the Spark there. Spark doing quite nicely. Well, I think perhaps over microed, but the looks of it, that Spark should have opportunity to fire, but they have a very limited angle of fire. And if you're microing them too much, then they often won't lock on. So I think a bit of a mistake there by Klops, but he's going to push this off, but losing a mech there, so all the pressure coming on from Custard right now, unsurprisingly considering for the type of build that he's gone for. And again, another bot factory coming out. He really is committing all of this to his early aggressive play.
Yeah, Klops has already lost a couple of his fabbers. He lost his fabber that he sent off to go get the 4 metal expansion behind his base, and he lost the one on the front of his base. It's not looking great. He's back up to 4 fabbers now, but he had to expend the economy to get back there. Harassment by Burnt Custard so far seems to be paying off.
Yeah, and Klops doing what Klops has been doing recently is floating his energy, and Burnt Custard again punching in with all these docks, and Klops allowing his forces to get spread out. But he's going for very heavy Spark counters on this play, but losing another fabber there. I think sending those 3 docks off really cost him. They would have turned that fight around and turned it into a win instead of a loss. Finally got a bomber out, but yeah, Burnt Custard all over Klops right now, and Klops has not turned those fabbers into an economy win. He is crashed his metal economy. Burnt Custard here, nicely balanced economy. He's got more factories, more fabbers, more units, looking in a very strong position and looking a lot more comfortable on a map I'm sure he's run across a lot more.
Yeah, definitely. And he's got his expanding fabbers protected by a significant number. Burnt Custard has his fabbers protected by a significant number of docks. So it's going to be really hard for Klops to be able to harass these guys down. And as I say that, here come the bombers. They're going to have to contend with this anti-air turret in order to get this fabber. Yeah, he didn't make it. That's unfortunate. He lost both bombers and didn't get anything for it.
Yeah, Custard really locking Klops down. He's expanding nicely. He's got Doc sitting out of the expansion points. He's putting down his AA because everyone knows that Klops likes his air micro and his bombers. Smartly, actually, rallying his Docs out there and just sort of getting them on area patrol in anticipation of air coming that way. And Klops now switching to all sparks, but his troops on completely the wrong side. And in typical Klops style, absolutely no radar. So this is up to his commander now to hold off this Docs push.
Yeah, one good Uber cannon, some good bombing runs will hold off this this Docs rush. Doesn't even get to fire the Uber cannon, but Custard already pulled him back.
On the other hand, mass sparks can counter Docs, and it's very hard to keep the Docs out of range of the sparks. It's very tight. But we see now that both players now turning up at the 6 mechs expansion. Klops there only, though, with that one air fabber, which I don't think he's noticed his opponent turned up yet, and I don't think Custard is looking at this either, otherwise that air fabber would be dead.
Yeah, absolutely.
So neither player paying attention to that. We're about to see the sparks and the Docs run into each other. Klops withdrawing, which I think is unusual. I think he's pulling back to defend his base, but he's really needed to charge those sparks headlong into the Docs because the shorter range on those sparks, they need to get stuck in.
Yeah, they really do. They're powerful. They're good against Docs. You just have to use them correctly.
Yeah, and Klops now pushing out with his commander to challenge for the center, and he really needs to because he's looking quite a bit of trouble. Although Custard not quite as far ahead as he could be because he's still trying to turn that economy lead into a production advantage and stalling his energy while doing it. So Klops not as far behind as the economy might suggest.
No, not really. But yeah, pushing out with the commander out to the center, good idea. Pushing out with your commander into the center with no unit support, not such a great idea.
Yeah, we see Custard now rallying the boombots. He's ready for this move, and Sparks perhaps not as good a boombot counter, I think, as Docs can be. They can, if you wiggle the boombots enough, you can get the Sparks to miss quite a bit in a way that the Doc's rapid rate of fire can compensate for.
True.
So yeah, but now Klopp's now pushing it with the sparks around the back of Burnt Custard's base. Doc's coming in to compensate, but he's going to pick up some nice wins there, and that's taking him ahead in terms of metal now. And he needs to get those bombers moving.
Don't just sit there. Don't just sit there.
But he's scoring some wins now. Klopp's really starting to drag himself back into this game, and the booms of Custard there, or was it Doc's, getting shut down by the sparks they came in, and Klopp's starting to take back the centre, and the heavy Doc's pressure of Burnt Custard now slowly being pushed back. Klopp's making a nice shift into sparks, and now that he's got himself back in the game, he's starting to get into tanks as well, so he can really sledgehammer. So Burnt Custard's going to have to put the pressure on hard, otherwise Klopp's is going to lock down this centre area with his force.
Yeah, Custard still with the constant Doc's rush. If Klops can turn this around and start getting out more vehicles, he's really going to start turning around this game. But he has to last that long, which is going to be a tall order at this point. But he seems to be doing pretty well at it. He's winning some engagements. He's putting pressure on the center here. We see a whole lot of action going on with just a constant line of Docs coming out from Custard trying to assault the center position of Klops. Klops trying desperately to pull up more and more tanks and more sparks to try to push Burnt Custard back out of the center area, and a nice push coming down to the side of Custard's base just to try to draw his attention away long enough that he can continue massing units in the center here.
Yeah, Klopp's doing a nice job there while fighting for the centre, also pushing out to take out that 4 and stop Burnt Custard just to continue to expand and increase his production. And now he's rolling out his air force to the 6 expansion as well. There is an AA turret there though, so that bomber gets driven off before it can take anything out. It's going to need to roll out a stronger presence than that, or perhaps even just a couple of drifters can pick all that off from the lava. But now we're starting to see those walls go down the centre from Burnt Custard as the a rather traditional play, I think, in terms of Forge now. Commanders into the centre, walls go down, but Minefield's gone down from Klops actually to protect his flank. Nice play. That's a new one on me. I haven't seen that one done very often, but
it's already taken out some docks, so it's been rather effective.
No, it has worked out rather well, but a very nice contrast here in terms of troop choices. So we're seeing tanks and sparks going out from Klops. We're seeing all docks going out from Burnt Custard. And engagement now on the other flank. Those sparks are going to close in. Oh, I think they're going to do a lot of damage here, and those docks melt.
Nicely played by Klops. That's how you use the sparks, right there.
Yeah, mixing them in with those tanks. Burnt Custard's still got a sizable mobile unit advantage, but a lot of that is docks. So it's not quite as one-sided as it looks. But that factory lead, and he's still floating, he's expanding. He's not turning that around. He needs to get something better onto producing energy. He's not able to turn it in, but he's now coming with a huge docks force, and Klops getting up his walls so he can try and hold the commander. But really, his turrets will have you all on the wrong side.
Those sparks are on the wrong side of that factory.
But
that hurts.
Custard is withdrawing though. He's not pushing his advantage, and I think he's missed a trick. I think it's perhaps that air force would be a bit too much for him. In fact, I think the problem that Custard's going to have now is if he tries to push into the base, he's no longer going to be able to dodge the bombers, and the bombers are going to clear him up.
Custard's got a pelter going down behind these walls. Klops is going to need to start doing something about that, or it's going to start picking away at the front line. Oh, and there goes. Here comes the shells. Start raining down.
And we're seeing the massive docks force of Burnt Custard there. Bombers!
Those bombers!
He's driven off that. And we see a drifter force being built up by Burnt Custard as well.
Oh, he's building something besides docks. That's good.
Yeah, he's coming in from the side. The pelters, one pelter of Klops might be in range now. I see it turn to fire. Yeah, locked onto that metal extractor. So he's got his.
There we go.
His own retort. We're seeing the docks of Burnt Custard a little out of position here as Klops prepares to build up to push in there. It looks to me like Klops has a slightly better established position. Oh, the drifters now closing in from Burnt Custard, coming around the back of Klops' base. A nice play here. Surprisingly, don't see as much drifter play on Forge as you might expect, but being used exceedingly well here by Custard. Scott, because Klops has been turreting up along the front lines, but that lava back now completely exposed. The bombers are coming in, but the damage is already done. So really nice work there by Burnt Custard.
Even taking out Klops' token radar.
Yes, the rather out of position radar as well. I might add. I'm not quite sure that was going to be detecting, but perhaps Klops felt good just building one. Klops though pushing into the centre now. He's starting to close in on that pelter. I think the commander's got it locked down pretty safely though. The sparks trying to punch through that wall, exposing a line of fire. The commander locking it down. Counter pelter fire coming in now from Burnt Custard against Klops' position.
Looks like Klops is doing a good job of clearing out the metal extractors. He's got a foothold down at the 6 metal expansion and is just wiping out all of Burnt Custard's metal extractors down there.
Burnt Custard
large bot force.
Yep, Burnt Custard coming.
It's going to run into the mines.
But I think they're going to punch through those mines. The question is how many will they have left, and will the bombers be able to clean it up afterwards? So that first force clean up nicely. Oh, those docks.
The mines.
Oh, that force is being ripped to pieces by those mines, but they're still getting through. Those bombers are going to have to swing in and fight that, but that was a significant loss. But can they still do the damage? Or can the bombers clean this up? That was
one metal extractor, 2 metal extractors down.
It's a lot of metal invested in this attack there by Burnt Custard, and those bombers are doing good work.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I don't see that was worth it for 2 metal extractors. That was a lot of docks.
Yeah, the problem is that Burnt Custard lacks a really good way to scan. He can move some combat feathers up, but they're much slower than the docks, so it really limits what he wants to do with those troops. And Klops now completely uncontested in the air and putting his bombers to great work. And we see here the difference between the last game and this one, where he has switched to an almost all bomber force now. He's not producing any hummingbirds at all. It's just bomber after bomber.
Yep, and drifters coming around behind Klops' base again. Although I think the bombers are going to get vision on him. Yep, whatever surprise attack Custard had set up is not going to work.
We see that the 6 metal area as well now being cleaned up by a single bolo from Klops, taking that down from Burnt Custard. Burnt Custard still managed to roll slightly ahead, but I think his troop composition not proving as effective, and Klops now raiding Burnt Custard on all fronts. So he's around the back there taking out more metal as well, slowly starting to creep forward his commander. The pelter lines though, keeping it tricky for Klops to move too far forward. Burnt Custard looking pretty well established with that wall setup. And I wonder if Klops has got a bad rally point here, because we see this lone spark rolling forward.
That is an incredibly brave spark right there. Oh man, nice big Doc's army rolling in, but just getting cleaned up by these bombers.
And the bombers go down, though.
Bombers go down. There's still a significant number of Docs here, and nothing left to stop them.
Yeah.
Metal extractor after metal extractor goes down. He's going to lose a couple favors and a factory under construction here. And he's got he's meeting up with another force of Docs that are just starting to just destroy these metal extractors.
But yes, those mines were not replenished, and those mines have been keeping Klops in the game from that flank, and he hasn't put them back, and that's going to prove to be a big mistake, I think, as these Docs come in, and they're going to clean up a lot of metal. They're going to really do some damage to Klops' economy. He's now only got half the economy of Burnt Custard, who's really starting to outproduce him at this point.
And there's 2 bombers in the space desperately trying to kill down these Docs.
There comes the GG from Klops. It's called the GG. He realises this is over with the fall of his base, and a superb play there. It's a real back and forth between Custard and Klops, I have to say. I thought that was an absolutely superb game. As
I said, Forge can be quite an entertaining map.
No, absolutely. And I think we see the difference there for Burnt Custard between a map that he knows well and a map that it looked to me like he was perhaps lacking a little practice on.
Yeah, I gotta hand it to him. After watching last game and this game, I'm back as a fan of Burnt Custard again. last game, I kind of lost it there.
I think as we've always said, Burnt Custard, amazing player. Always really solid performances from him throughout the tournament. We never doubted him for a second.
Right.
Okay, well, let's just quickly bring Ghost in to have a very quick discussion of this before we push into the next round, which I think is already getting underway. So, Ghost, how did that game look to you?
Wow. Simply put, incredible. I think there were 2 things that I saw from both sides. First, Custard's early Docs cross, that was actually really fantastic to see. I think his only issue was the fact that he never built anti-air to just clean up those bombers, and at that point he would have been pretty much invincible. And to Klops, I think his only issue was that he started building vehicles. He started going for that opening with the bots to try and kind of counter Custard's opening, but then he tried to slowly transition into tanks, and because of that he started to go into the tank mentality of you have to hold and secure your locations. And at that point, Custard just kind of started to find any other little like crack in the armor and just flooded Docs. I mean, I think there was at least a good 1,000 dead Docs at the end of that match from bombers and just tanks alone. So I think it was a very, very tooth and nail match, but Custard obviously with that just mass Docs just pulled it out for him.
Yeah, just the Docs, the endless waves of Docs. Docs genocide.
I mean, if it wasn't Docs, I mean, I think Custard had 10 Docs for every metal count he had. So he had 300 metal at the end there. So he had a couple 3,000, 3 million Docs just throwing themselves at the walls of Klops. I mean, simply put, Klops just couldn't kill them fast enough. I mean, I think it was just a matter of Zerg swarming where he just threw so many at Klops. I mean, Klops did fantastic at just kind of general defense, but it just became down to he was always trying to kill another 30 Docs for the 400 he already killed.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just, well, I guess Custard had the right idea. Just lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of Docs. And
lots
a few
and
drifters.
lots.
And a few drifters, and that was it.
That was
his
nice
unit
to see.
composition.
I really like to see those drifters coming because I think that was the turning point there, where he managed to just get that little quick, gut check just to really get him there. It was just enough to really throw Klops through that loop, and then the Docs just came in, and that was it.
Yep, and Pelters. You can't discount the Pelters that he built too.
Those Pelters did a really good job. I think Klops had 2 there at the end there, so he's just trying to again kill Docs, but I don't know if Custard's really did anything besides just kind of tickle a couple factories and just make Klops feel really more pressure, because I think he could have actually fired at the commander if he had realized the commander was there, which, I mean, at that point, I'm pretty sure he had pretty much gotten the credit card number off of how close he was to that commander.
Yeah, absolutely.